HINTERKAIFECK is a small estate located between the Bavarian cities of Ingolstadt and Schrobenhausen, about 70 kilometers north of Munich. It became the site of the most mysterious and terrible crime in the history of Germany. On the evening of March 31, 1922, 6 farm residents were killed there with a hoe or pick. The killer was never found. The 6 victims were farmer Andreas Gruber, 63, his wife Cecilia, 72, their widowed daughter Victoria Gabriel, 35, and her 2 children, Cecilia, 7, and Joseph, 2, and their maid Maria Baumgartner, 44. 2-year-old Joseph was rumored to be the son of Andreas and Victoria from their incestuous relationship. This place has never officially called HINTERKAIFECK. The name was given to a demolished farm in the village of Kaifeck, located 1 kilometer from the main part of the village, 2 more farmsteads from Kaifeck and located near the forest. The prefix hinter is part of many names in German and means behind. Crime. A few days before the crime, farmer Andreas Gruber told neighbors that he had seen footprints in the snow that led from the forest to the farm, but he did not find any tracks leading back to the forest. He also said that he heard a noise in the attic and found an unfamiliar newspaper on the farm. In addition, 1 set of keys to the house went missing in a few days, but he did not report it to the police. 6 months earlier, the previous housemaid had left the farm, claiming that the house was cursed and haunted. The new housemaid, Maria Baumgartner, arrived at the farm on March 31, just hours before her death. What exactly happened on that Friday night, no one can say with certainty. It is believed that the older couple, as well as their daughter Victoria and her daughter Cecilia, were somehow lured to the barn and killed one by one. Then the killer went into the house and killed little Joseph in the crib, and then the maid who was with the child in the bedroom. On Tuesday, April 4, neighbors came to the farm because its residents had not been seen for several days, which was very unusual. The postman noticed that the mail he had left on Saturday was still untouched. Moreover, young Cecilia did not appear at school on Monday. Investigation. Inspector Georg Reingruber and his colleagues from the Munich Police Department made an enormous effort to solve the crime. More than 100 suspects were questioned by them over several years, but all to no avail. The most recent interrogation took place in 1986, but it did not yield anything. In 2007, students at the Police Academy in Fürstenfeldbruck were given the task of re-investigating the case using modern crime investigation methods. They concluded that the case could not be investigated after such a long time. They lacked evidence, since the methods of investigation at that time were quite primitive. In addition, the evidence was lost, and the suspects were long dead. However, the students managed to identify 1 person as the main suspect. However, they did not directly name the man in their report, out of respect for his living relatives. To this day, many are trying to conduct their own investigation of this case. At first, the police assumed that the motive for the murder could be a simple robbery, and they questioned several residents from surrounding villages, as well as traveling artisans and vagabonds. However, the theory of robbery was later abandoned when money was found in the house on the farm. It is assumed that the killer remained on the farm for several more days, as someone continued to feed the cattle and eat in the kitchen. Neighbors also saw smoke rising from the chimney over the weekend, meaning someone lit a fire in the house. If the killer wanted money, he would have found it. The next day, April 5, a local doctor, Johann Baptist Ommler, performed an autopsy on the bodies. It was determined that the hoe was the most likely murder weapon. The corpses were decapitated, and the skulls were sent to Munich, where they were examined by several clairvoyants, but their examination did not lead to any results. The autopsy also showed that young Cecilia remained alive for several hours after the attack. She lay in the straw, next to the bodies of her grandparents and mother, and tore her hair. Funeral. All 6 victims were buried in Weidhofen, where a monument was erected. Their skulls were never recovered from Munich and were lost during the chaos of World War II. Not far from the place where the murder took place, a memorial shrine was erected. The farm was demolished the following year, 1923. Version. This would have been the end of this terrible story, if not for another strange fact connected with the murder of a family in HINTERKAIFECK. The death of Karl Gabriel, the husband of Victoria Gabriel, whose death was reported in 1914 when he was fighting in France, has not been confirmed, since his body was not found. We are not asserting anything. This secret was carried to the grave by her victims and the real killer. But if you connect the rumors that Victoria's husband was alive and that Victoria entered into incest with her father, giving birth to a son from him, you can come to certain conclusions. The killer knew the farm well, had been skillfully hiding there for who knows how long. And how he was able to lure all the family members into the barn one by one. Did they know their killer and trust him? Whose ghost had so frightened the previous maid? And most importantly, why did the perpetrator stay on the farm after the murder and continue to run the farm? Think about it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of mysterious stories and photos. Check out this playlist and I'll see you in the next video.